Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another Options and Play video update. Hope you're all having a great week. Uh, we have basically started September right in the same rut that we were in for August, right? We're range bound, looking for direction, a lot of back and forth trading, a lot of misdirection, a lot of choppy intraday moves that are very headline driven. Hopefully we resolve this range soon. Charts open up, ranges open up, consolidations start to resolve. We'll see. That could be a story for a different day, though. Tonight, a pretty busy lineup. A lot of well, actually, this week just in general, pretty busy in terms of software reports. Tonight specifically, you have some interesting names, and of those, work. So Slack definitely one of the most interesting setups. So this will be Work's first report as a public company. If you're not familiar with Work, they debuted back at the end of June. It was right when software stocks were just humming along. Zoom had been fantastic, Crowd had been fantastic. There was just a lot of enthusiasm around this name, and it debuted high, and it's really like the performance has stunk. That opening day marked the high of its trading since coming out. So it was 42 was the high of that session, and it hasn't come anywhere near that since. Going into earnings, it's up today, but it really has struggled to break this 20-day. Very key trend resistance for the last couple months. So the performance has been pretty lousy. But interestingly, the expectations are actually kind of high. So this is, even after the drop, not a cheap name by any stretch. And the revenue expectations are going to be pretty significant in terms of growth, but actually down quite a bit year over year. So a lot of people have been a little bit more cautious because the revenue growth is slowing, expenses are ramping. The stock came out at like a really high valuation. So this is going to be a critical report from a fundamental perspective, but also from a technical perspective, which I'll just get into in a second. But in terms of the actual numbers, what they're looking for, a loss of about 19 cents. So negative 19 cents is EPS. So the bottom line. On the top line, they're looking for about 140 to 141 million on revenue. So 140.6. So in that ballpark. You have to keep an eye on that bottom line just because sometimes like the first report, they have really heightened expenses because of the IPO fees and coming public. But anyway, like those are the numbers they're looking for, so you can keep an eye out for that. In terms of options, the straddle. So the stock is up a lot today, but interestingly, the straddle's actually down. The puts are losing value a little bit faster than the calls are gaining. So the straddle is down to about 475. It was a little bit closer to 5 yesterday. Now it's down closer to about 475. So the straddle's actually come down. A lot of demand coming in for the calls. Actually, at one point this morning, the calls, the skew had been inverted. So there was actually higher implied volatility on the calls than on the puts. I'll just show you in a second as well. But 5 points. We saw Zoom and CrowdStrike both have monster moves. So for this name, one that's been in such an aggressive downtrend, I mean, 5 points would easily put it, either through like the bottom of the trend or through like the top of the trend. So really, I mean, like tonight is critical in the sense that it's lagged materially out of the gate. It's the first report as a public company, so it just kind of sets the tone going forward. But also, it's just in this really tight, aggressive downtrend. And if numbers are good, then it has a nice chance of breaking the downtrend, and there could be a pent-up breakout and run, right? Just because of the performance. But also, if they're bad, a break of the downtrend on the downside could lead to like an accelerated move lower when combined with like the still high valuation. Could lead to a pretty substantial move lower as well. So that's why I thought a volatility strategy was interesting, just because first report, interesting technical setup, high expectations, higher valuation. So a lot of moving parts with this one. Definitely could be interesting. So just wanted to show the options too. So the option, like the skew, not really inverted at the moment. It's more more balanced, but at one point this morning it was actually a inverted skew, meaning that the options, the applied volatility on the um, calls that were equidistant from the puts on the, out of the money were actually trading at a higher implied volatility, meaning that people were paying more for the calls than the puts that were equidistant out of the money. So you can see right now that there's been a ton of volume on the call side. Right now in September, calls are leading puts by almost 3 to 1. So a lot of volume coming in on the call side. We'll see. I mean, that's not necessarily like a good indicator on the day of its report. It just could be like hot money coming in at the last minute. So what you want to watch, 475. That's the price to move. So that would either put it below 25, where you can see there's a ton of open interest, or above 35 again, where you can see there's a ton of open interest. So those two strikes, 35 and 25, are going to be really key to watch. There's a lot of open interest sitting at both, largest on the put side and largest on the call side. So like those are the two levels that you really want to focus on if they get into that range. All right. So definitely one to keep an eye on. One I've been interested in, one I've been looking at for a while, and tonight's could potentially be a wild one. So definitely put this on your radar if it's not on your radar at the moment. All right. So I'd love to hear from you guys. So please reach out with questions or comments. I want to thank all of you that stopped by for last night's option session. Like I always say, I really value the time we get to spend, get to talk shop, talk trading, talk options. So if you have any questions regarding last night's option session, please don't hesitate to reach out as well. So have a wonderful night. Best of luck if you guys are playing anything, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.